Hello, hello. Okay, so today I'm going to make a fun video, lighthearted, sort of like a don't take this personally video of what annoys the signs, like what bothers the signs. Okay, so I'm just gonna go off what comes to mind because I have lots in my mind about this. Okay, so Aries. Aries hates lines. Waiting around, waiting in a line, waiting for someone to show up somewhere. Anything that like requires them to sit still for like 5 seconds, going to annoy them. They're going to rush you. They're going to, okay, well, let's go. Like, whatever, I don't want to do it anyway. Like, anything like that. They don't like to be told to shh. Absolutely not. Don't tell them to calm down because chances are they're probably not even angry like you think they are. They're just excited. So yeah, calm down or shh or like be quiet. Like, piss them off real fast. Taurus likes to run on their own clocks. So, and it's usually very slow. Like they're slow moving individuals, which is fine. We should all slow it down from time to time. But, so in order to piss off a Taurus, all you gotta do is rush them. And I can guarantee they will go slower if you rush them. But that will also, it will annoy them to have to do that because they don't like being like pressured to do something on someone else's time clock. Like, they like to move at their own pace. Another thing that Tauruses don't like is when people are fake. Like, I find that Tauruses are really thrown off by someone who is like, people that like go up a whole voice notch when they meet someone and they're like, hi, and then in 5 seconds they're like, yeah, I hate that person, they're awful. Like, they don't like vast changes in personality from person to person. Like, they don't really get it. They're like, well, weren't you just saying this and then you're that? Like, they don't like that. What else? Tauruses do not like to be bossed around, which is basically every fixed sign. So Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, like, don't like being told what to do, how to do it, especially if they're already doing what they're told to do. Don't like rub it in. Well, do it this way, do it in the micromanage. They don't like that. Also, I forgot to mention, a lot of these things that the signs hate, they do themselves because the human condition is sort of like that. We attract people who do things that annoy us, but we also kind of do the things that annoy us. It's kind of like a hypocritical, like, basic human nature thing that happens. So off that note, I feel like Taurus is also like would micromanage someone along with Capricorns, but would like micromanage someone, and Virgo. Okay, all our signs would micromanage someone if they were like doing something wrong. They would be like, excuse me, no, the pencil goes to the right of the pen, or the little tiny fork goes to the left of the big spoon. You know what I mean? Like, picky, little nitpicky, detail-oriented sort of things. Okay, Geminis. Not a lot annoys Geminis. Like, they're half in the clouds, half on earth, very like, whatever, like, nothing really annoys them. So when it comes to this sign, being told they're wrong, they're ruled by Mercury, so being told they're wrong annoys them, but granted, it will just like hype them up to like prove that they're right and then like have an interesting dialogue, so in the end, it won't really piss them off. It just kind of will stimulate them. They don't like being called two-faced. I mean, no one would really like that, but they probably hear it a lot because they're so like diverse and they're so multidimensional, which I could also see a conflict between Taurus and Gemini because Geminis are very like, oh, I have like, I think of them as the people in high school who were friends with all of the different cliques. Like they were an athlete, say they played soccer in the fall and they were like friends with all the soccer people, and then they like tried out for the musical in the winter and they were like friends with all the like musical people and the artistic people and like they are friends with everyone. So someone like that, through the eyes of someone who is very, fixed and decisive and very like, okay, well, black and white, I like things this way, black and white thinking. So when Taurus sees a Gemini, they're like, that's gotta be fake. Like, they've got to be fake when they're doing that. But actually, they're just really curious and, they just jump from thing to thing and person to person and discovering different things about different people that they like and they see in themselves. So, where are we? Cancer. Calling them a crybaby. That was the point of that. Calling them a crybaby, telling them that they're too sensitive, oh, you can't take a joke. Basically, everything a Sagittarius would tell someone who was being a little too sensitive, was being a little too, well, like, you really hurt my feelings, you know. And no one really likes to be invalidated, but Cancers really don't like to be invalidated. Like, the worst thing that you could say to a Cancer is like, oh, you just made that up in your head, or like, oh, you're just way too sensitive. It's a joke. Like, learn how to take a joke. Like anything like that. No. Okay? And I'm laughing at the fucking song in my head now. I have it stuck. And also, another thing that they would piss them off is being left out. And then, like, having to, like, see that their friends, like, purposely planned something and left them out. Like through social media or whatnot. And I can also add Leos really, really, really hate that too when they feel like they're left out purposefully. And also Pisces, they really don't like that. Like, damn, like, you're having fun without me, you planned a whole thing without me, like, really? Couldn't, like, include me? They tend to, like, come from a place of, you know, me with that. So they don't think, like, oh, the person probably just, like, planned something with that group or those friends and didn't really think to invite me, whatever. They're more like, how could you not think to invite me? We're friends. I'm speaking from like a Leo Sun, Cancer, Mercury, and Venus perspective, and those have not been my good days when I take it personally when my friends hang out with other friends without me or something. Now I don't do that really, now that I'm old, but when I was like 21 and 16, I used to be like really codependent, crying like, oh, why don't they love me, man? Not about you. Now when I look at my little self, I'm like, it was not about you. They just wanted to go do that thing together. They didn't think to like, oh, you should join too. Like, and no one's required to do that to include you in every single thing that they do with their lives, even if they are your best friend. So Leos, another sign to not tell to calm down. It's also counterproductive. Like, in general, like, when has ever telling someone to calm down worked out in your favor? Please let me know. No one's gonna react well to that because it's a stupid, condescending thing to say. Like, you don't need to tell me to calm down. I'm perfectly capable of reacting the way that I need to react, the way that I do react, and who I am as a person. Bye. That's it. You can tell I've been told to calm down a lot in my life. Leos do not like being compared to people they don't like. So if someone's like, oh, you remind me of so-and-so, and the so-and-so is someone they don't like, they don't like being compared to people in general, even though they tend to do that a lot themselves, like on their own, like compare themselves in their mind to people and like in different progress, like, oh, that person's really succeeding, like, why am I not succeeding? They tend to do that. What else? You know, being ignored. Yeah. A lot of my exes did that on purpose because I would get pretty heated, pretty mad. You know, but to be fair, I knew they were doing it on purpose to piss me off, so. Sometimes people are just ignoring you because they're busy. Other times people are being jackasses and actually ignoring you because they know it gets to you and pisses you off and they want to provoke you. If you want to provoke a Leo, ignore them and make it clear that it's on purpose. Don't do that though, please. Virgo, another mercurial sign, so they do not like being told they are wrong. And if they are wrong, like, yeah, whatever, say it once, don't rub it in their face. They don't like having things rubbed in their face. Like, oh, remember the one time when you did this with me? Like, they don't like that. They don't like it at all. They also do not like big, like, public chaotic scenes. So if someone, like, throws a drink at the bar, you know, basically fire signs. Basically fire signs that, you know, don't hold in their, you know, private BS till when they get home and, like, have massive, like, fits in public. They really don't like that. It really bothers them and, like, turns them off from you immediately. They will run away from you at the speed of light. Libras don't like people who pick fights. Like, you know those people who just, like, poke fun at you and they're like, well, they poke fun, you know, like Aries, their opposite sign. They do not like that. It makes them uncomfortable and they still start, like, getting, like, awkward and they're just like, ugh, I don't want to be here, and they'll walk away. They also don't like when their friends fight, like or when they get pulled into fights, even though they're probably the best person to pull into a fight between two people because they're good mediators, but they don't really like it. I mean, even though they end up in that situation a lot. They don't like people who are super know-it-all, like, and they rub their knowledge in your face, and they don't like any of that at all. Scorpios. What do Scorpios like? We should start there. The list is shorter. Okay. What pisses them off the most is when their personal business is aired in public, and also when like they tell you something in confidence and you tell your best friend who they're not really friends with, they're like, that's my information. I know you trust that person, but I don't trust them because I don't know them. So like, you shared my personal information with someone I don't personally trust, and also don't share their personal information ever because they don't like that. It's their personal, private life. Like, they don't need their info spread around. They also don't like people who keep secrets or lie, like, just for fun. They don't like liars in general. Like, it really pisses them off. But, like, even white lies and, like, people who, like, some people can just be like, oh, whatever, they, like, their white lie. Like, little lie here. No. Scorpios are like, you're a shit person if you feel the need to lie all the time. Like, no. They don't like liars and they don't like frauds. And, yeah. No. And they also are very perceptive, so they will watch you before they're close with you. Like, they will be like, if you're in a public place together with other people or other friends, they're going to notice how you treat your friends when they're not there. Like, they will be like, oh, like, you're gonna talk shit about your friends that just left? Oh, you're gonna, like, act a different person? They are very observant, so they will know if you're being fake or a fraud, basically. They can know that anyway before even, like, meeting you. They'll just sense the vibes. Sagittarius. Another sign that doesn't really like being told they're wrong. It will bother them, but not really as much as it would bother a Virgo. Or a Taurus. So Sagittarius, they don't like feeling restricted. It would annoy them if someone was like purposely trying to like limit them, or like, you know, like with a schedule, or like something that would make it so that it was like such a plan and they couldn't do anything outside the plan, like limit their, you know, their ability to experience an adventure. They don't like that. What else? Sagittarius, it annoys them when people bring down the mood of like a party or a social scene. So like if someone's like I used the Cancer example before, if someone's like upset because you made a poke or a joke at them or something, you poked fun at them, they really don't like when someone like makes it all about them or is like, man, like pity parties. They don't like pity parties, and they don't like people who are like whiny and like me. Like, they're ruled by Jupiter. They are like ultimate optimists. Like, they don't want to be around people who whine about nothing. Capricorn. Another sign that doesn't like complainers, but they tend to be complainers. I mean, they're ruled by Saturn, so they're very like picky and restrictive and responsible and disciplined. So when they see a hot mess of a person, they're annoyed by it. They're like, if you're a mess, you're going back and forth with something and you're crying to this person, you're stirring up drama over here, they just don't stand for it. They're just like, no, absolutely not. Also, another way to annoy a Capricorn would be to tell them to lighten up. Don't tell someone ruled by Saturn to lighten up. They're not light. They have it hard. Like, you don't need to like tell them to lighten up. They don't need to hear that. What else? Like, they don't like irresponsibility. They get really annoyed when someone tries to blame their problems on someone else. And they get really annoyed when someone doesn't take their advice and then complains about their problem over and over and over again. Like, okay, did you not hear my advice I just spent my time giving you and you just ignored it and then you're going to complain again to me? No. They do not stand for that. Aquarius. Aquarius will not really show they're annoyed when they're annoyed. So there's really no guarantee of knowing what exactly annoys an Aquarius. But I would say one of the major ones is when someone's speaking about something that they know nothing about and acting like they know everything about it. And like speaking like, oh, I am the, you know, the speaker of all for this topic, and they literally don't even know the basics. That will piss an Aquarius off. That will like send an Aquarius into like overdrive. Like, actually, you're dumb as bricks because so and so and so and so, and you should do your research before blabbing because you are lost. They do not like people who act like they know everything. Which is funny because sometimes Aquarius acts like they know everything. But they do not like people who act like they know everything and assume things and like try to teach other people about things that they know nothing about themselves. They do not like that. And they also don't like being told they're wrong, like I mentioned before. And they really get annoyed when people are clingy and codependent and yeah, none of that. They don't like any of that. Over emotional, over sentimental in public, like just very another sign ruled by Saturn. So they do not like hot messes. Like, oof, like get it together. No, control yourself, that sort of thing. Pisces. Another sign where they're sort of up in the clouds. You're sort of like, what really annoys you? But like I said, they don't like being left out and they don't like feeling excluded. So when someone purposely does that, that really annoys them and it hurts them. Don't really suggest hurting them. Like, it's not nice. What else do Pisces not like? They don't like when people, like, you know, the non-believers of society, like the people who just don't believe in anything. I'm not going to use that word. I forget what the word is even. The religious, you know, there's like, whatever. I don't know what the word is. But they're just non-believers and they go out of their way to try and bring others down. They go out of their way to be like, actually, that was just dust in the sky. You didn't see an angel. You know what I mean? And people like, I've done this. I've done this before, actually, as a Pisces rising. Like, tweeted and like, oh my gosh, look at all the, like, the angels in the air, or in the little, like, bright air, orbs in the air. And someone was like, actually, that's dust. Actually, you can't see anything anyway. Like, people who don't believe, you can't see, you need to, believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. Watch the Santa Claus 3. It's in there. But what I'm saying is if you don't believe, you're not gonna open your third eye and see. You know what I mean? I'm like, also there's no like dust in the sky. Like there's no. It was an angel orb. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. But that sort of thing, you know, a non-believer goes after someone who's like, you know, maybe a little naive, not in that circumstance, but just like a little more naive, and like, actually, you're a moron. Like, you know, poor Pisces. Like, they just don't like that. And they don't like when they witness it, and they don't like when people do it to them. Like, don't rain on my goddamn parade. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So that was the last sign. I did this in 18 minutes. That's an excessive amount of time. I don't really know what I talked about for almost 19 minutes. Love you all. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if I make this public, please check out my Patreon, where I post 2 to 3 times a week educational resources, as well as fun, weird, lighthearted content like this. I hope everyone has a great weekend.